Holiday World is a quaint family-owned amusement park located in Santa Claus, Indiana. The park has built themselves up to be one of the wooden roller coaster capitals of the world. They have 3 incredible ones on offer, along with 1 big steel coaster and 1 small steel coaster. Now, despite only having 5 total roller coasters, Holiday World has one of my favorite little coaster lineups in the United States. I can't imagine spending a day here and getting bored over just their few offerings because they're all that good. But many rank these rides differently than how I will in this video, and the fact that it's so subjective tells you how good Holiday World's coasters are. If you can't get enough of wood coasters, this needs to be sky high on your bucket list, and even if you aren't usually a fan of woodies, still give this park a chance. Before taking a trip to the Midwest and experiencing Holiday World's wood coasters, along with nearby Kings Islands, my brother Sean was never the biggest fan of woodies. There had always been a few outliers, but then there's me who is a sucker for wooden roller coasters. I knew one of the parks I had to take Sean to was Holiday World so that he could have a newfound appreciation for wooden roller coasters. A lot of people associate them as old rickety basic rides, whereas the ones at Holiday World are anything but. So let's kick things off with my number 5 spot, a very easy choice for me, and that's Howler. By nature, Howler is going to rank at the bottom spot because it is simply a kid's coaster and not a very good one at that. The ride is a Zamperla-built family gravity model consisting of a shallow, twisted drop, a helix, and a turnaround into the station. Though many parks will send you around the layout multiple times to increase the fun factor, and that's something Holiday World does as well. Some of you are about to be scratching your heads when I tell you that the jump from 5 to 4 is about as ridiculous a jump as they come. I'm giving the number 4 spot to Thunderbird. Yes, this big B&M wing coaster ranks just 1 spot higher than a kid's coaster. But here's the thing, when you have competition as tough as Holiday World's, that's just how it's gonna look. This is no knock at Thunderbird, which is a terrific steel coaster and one of my favorite wing coasters I've ridden. It's actually the only B&M wing coaster that starts with a launch instead of a lift hill, and it's a fun launch too. Then you'll head straight into the action with 4 inversions and lots of fun overbank turns. You'll notice that Thunderbird's layout starts above the main pathways and then continues into the forestry. This is something Holiday World loves to incorporate onto their major roller coasters, and I think it's great. During our visit, the fall foliage was at its peak, and something awesome that we had the chance to experience was riding Thunderbird, an orange roller coaster with orange trees all around us. It sort of looked like an illusion, but if anything, it only added to the fun factor. Taking the number 3 spot is the first of Holiday World's wooden coasters to make the list, and that's Raven. I think it's hilarious that Raven is the worst woody at this park because if it were anywhere else, it would probably be the best one there. This coaster opened in 1995 and is that big front gate coaster for the park. It has actually won the Golden Ticket Award for Best Wooden Roller Coaster in the years 2000 to 2003. And how could you blame the Golden Tickets in this case? This ride is incredible. For me, it starts off a little mellow compared to the latter half of the ride, and that inconsistency is the reason it doesn't rank higher on my list. Obviously, I prefer a more high-thrill wooden roller coaster, and Raven rides like a family thrill woody in my opinion. That is, until you reach what people call the 4th drop, which is far larger than many of the previous drops due to the terrain. From there, Raven puts its foot on the gas and absolutely flies through the rest of the layout. This is the section of the ride that left me breathless, especially since it was the first thing we experienced at Holiday World. This terrain interaction that makes the ride is something Holiday World incorporates onto all 3 of their wooden coasters, and man is it something. Let's move on to the number 2 Holiday World coaster, and that's Legend. I could not believe how incredible Legend was this past year. I know I said Raven would have likely been the best wooden roller coaster at most other parks, but Legend would have likely been the best coaster period at most other parks. So much so that I've given this ride a top 25 spot out of 664 roller coasters I've ridden. And just to think it's somehow not even the best coaster at this park, that just blows my mind. Legend is one of the longest wooden roller coasters I've been on, clocking in at over 4,000 feet in track length. The first few elements pass over and under water slides from the nearby Splash and Safari water park before fully taking advantage of its wooded surroundings. There's so many drops on this ride that appear bigger than they actually are, giving great airtime, and then there's so many turns that produce unbelievable lateral G-forces as well. Legend is often called the king of laterals amongst wooden roller coasters, and I can certainly understand why. My favorite part of the ride is this double helix smack dab in the middle of the layout where you are pinned to the side of your train, unable to do anything but wait until the element is over. All the while you have these tunnels amplifying the sense of speed, which is actually one of my favorite things about this particular woody. From what I can remember, Raven doesn't actually incorporate any tunnels, but Legend has a lot of them. This coaster is absolutely meant to be a step up from Raven, but not quite as crazy as the number 1 spot on this list, which I've given to the Voyage. If you're familiar with Holiday World's roller coasters, you know about Voyage. This coaster is a work of art. It has been voted the best wooden roller coaster by the Golden Ticket Awards and Time magazine countless times. And how could I disagree when the Voyage ranks in my top 5 overall roller coasters I have ever been on? This is the best wood coaster in the world, I'm pretty sure of it. Before we run down the stats and I show you guys a POV, just keep in mind that my footage of this ride with all the fall colors corrupted itself. It's honestly such a shame, but at least there's other POVs out there that can somewhat compensate to my experience. That is, without the fall colors. Voyage has an unbelievable 6,442 feet of length, making it the second longest wooden roller coaster in the world after the Beast at Kings Island, and by far the longest woody with just a single lift hill. It's able to accomplish this because of its terrain. You may not realize it while you're riding Voyage, but it has an out and back layout, and everything that goes out into the woods actually goes uphill. Holiday World covers this up by incorporating large camelback hills and tunnels into the layout. Once you get from the furthest point away from the station, you enter what is referred to as the ride's spaghetti bowl of track. This is a twister section with some quick airtime pops and 90-degree bank turns, all while you're leveled with the ground itself. So then we hit a mid-course brake run, aka the halfway point of the ride, because this is where things are about to get real. You are now heading down the terrain that you'd previously gone up without even noticing, so part of the reason Voyage's second half is so insane is because you feel like you're building more and more speed out of nowhere. It's amazing that you feel like you're going at your max speed at the very end of the ride, whereas most coasters start to die out by then. This is the one part of the ride I was able to keep my footage of, and as you can see, it is just going so fast, and this thing is flying through some of its final elements. Voyage can be a lot to handle because it is by far one of the most intense wooden roller coasters I've ever been on. And this summer, my brother and I are heading back to Holiday World to experience the ride without any trim breaks as a part of their coaster enthusiast event Halloween Nights. I can only imagine how stupidly quick this thing is going to be once you've cleared that mid-course brake run. It's going to be an incredible time, so be sure to subscribe to Coaster Dash and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss my video all about the event. Thank you all so much for sticking with me in today's countdown video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.